Alrighty, new gym tour. We're gonna start off with this pec fly machine, but I mean, it's elbow supported or elbow padded. Hard to explain, just watch. Now, I am just warming up still. Oh, ooh. Something feels a little funky in my inner chest just there. Ooh. I've had this feeling before. It's not like I pulled it, but ooh, something is. Ooh, this is gonna be an interesting workout. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna continue. Alrighty, I know I ended on a spooky note, but let me just take you along the journey with me, right? So that wasn't really too heavy. That was like it says 95 pounds here, which is like what 24 kilos. I don't know, whatever. But that really was the first like feeler warm up set that I would normally do because I feel like I'm sort of strong with pec fly, and so I wouldn't be afraid to start my working set like half the stack or maybe even a bit lower. So that weight in my mind I thought should have been pretty manageable, but whilst doing the reps, I mean, I was, focusing on form, but there was just this point where when my arms and elbows were quite straight, sort of in this position, and I was really squeezing inwards, did I feel like literally right down the middle of my chest. It's a weird sensation to describe. It's like it feels like it wants to be cracked. You ever get like a how do I explain it? Or like your knee feels a little shaky, and then when you just crack it once, and then it feels like all good, like you just realigned yourself by straightening out your knee. Has that ever happened to you? Anyway, similar feeling right in the center of my chest, and I've had this sensation before actually, and it's always been during chest movements. So one time when I was doing incline dumbbell press, and I let my elbows come down too quickly, it almost felt like a fucking face eater attacked me, an alien, and it burst out of my chest. It was like, it was fucking crazy. And I felt the crack is what I meant. And then the second time I felt that sensation was when I was doing dips, but I don't recall if there were like tricep dips or lower pec dips, but all I know was I fucking dive bombed down into that bottom position and it went fucking crack. And so the lesson here is that both times I continued the chest workout, and both times I was like, oh, my chest is fucked for like maybe a week and a half. So the lesson here is that I'm still going to continue the chest workout, but I'm actually going to take it pretty damn chill. I'm not even going to change the weight from what I started with just then, and just think of today's workout as like a let's squeeze as hard as we can, as opposed to I don't know explode and move heavy weight as hard as we can. Does that make sense? Here's what it looks like. Ugh. Ugh. Ooh. We're all good. I'm solid, cuz. All right, two more. All right, now I'm getting really fancy with the camera angles and shit. Yeah, look, that's it. I mean, I still felt a tiny bit of discomfort, especially during that squeezing portion, but it was definitely more mild than that warm up set. And then me being me, I felt a bit of discomfort. And I was like, okay, maybe next rep I'll just squeeze a tiny fraction harder. No increase in pain. So I was like, oh, okay, we might still be on here. So we'll see how we go. Same weight, same set. Still gonna pump hard, squeeze hard rather. See how we go. Oh, damn. Not bad. Last set. Ooh. Let's move on. They call it torque arm, but whatever. Anyway, one set. Let's see how we go. Normally, I don't like pressing, but you know, when in Vegas, you play blackjack. That's the saying. Ooh. Ooh. Honestly, it is very. Uh, I trained abs. I trained abs 2 days ago. My abs are fucked. Honestly, that feels very nice. That is sick. That is sick. It's just like so much force out of the bottom. And then you just get that tiny bit of relief at the top where you can just think about squeezing. Not bad. Not bad. But we will move on. All right, forget everything I just said. Olympus seated cable chest press. Not cable, goddammit. Plate loaded. But it doesn't really matter. Two plates on the heaviest at the start. Whatever you call it, the pin, the node, whatever. Whew. That's not bad. I was trying very hard not to stick the ribs out and sort of stay slightly crunched, but my fucking abs are so sore. So that's not bad. What are we at? We're at 5 sets. There is a tricep machine, a Nautilus overhead tricep machine here that I want to try. So we're gonna have to add that to the mix. Let's uh, let's look around. Let's see what else we can find here. All right, I've always wanted to use one of these things where it's a tricep pushdown machine, but rather than like an angled backrest that I've seen some machines have, this one has like a knee stopper. You know, when you do your lat pull downs, there's that pad that goes on top of your knees to fix you in place. They've got one here. This is the prime seated pushdown. The only thing that would have made this better is that the handles converge slightly. They do the opposite. They actually go outwards or actually go vertically down, which isn't ideal because for this particular movement, I'm not trying to work the triceps. I'd rather do like a full type of extension movement for my triceps. I'm trying to work my lower pecs with this. And so as a result, if I don't bring that arm or that elbow towards the midline, I'm sort of missing out a bit in terms of like pec stimulation. At least that's my thinking. But like the other prime machines, you can adjust the fucking torque on this baby. And I've set it to not the beginning being the hardest, but one after the beginning, so the middle and the start range. Only because again, I'm trying to maximize weight during the stretch portion, minimize it during the squeeze portion. That's the theory. Anyway, one set here. Let's see how we go. Oh, almost felt like I pulled my damn neck again. I gotta chill out here. Fucking flexing that shit too hard. Anyway, it was okay. Not ideal. It's got fat grips as well, which I'm ashamed to say it hurt my measly little hands. We might move on to some triceps. Let's see. Greetings, everybody. We finally made it. Triceps. Seated tricep extension, smack on an overhead label on top of that. So Nautilus have this machine, right, where the pads are up here and you grip onto the handle like in this position, then you extend. It's fucking nasty. I mean, what's the saying? Target the long head, do your tricep movements overhead. I think so, yes, but then also just, I mean, if you just spam enough tricep movements, your whole tricep's gonna grow, right? Don't worry too much about the whole bias biz just yet. The cool thing about this is, and I've noticed this trend with most Nautilus machines here, is that you can adjust a lot. So you can adjust pretty much. Oh, okay, you can't adjust the angle at which that stops at, but you can adjust the seat distance forward and backwards, as well as the seat height up and down. And I mean, it sounds basic, but that's still a pretty fucking good feature to have. It was a shame that when I got set up on this, the seat was really high up, and I was like, "Yeah, look, my brethren that trying to hit that overhead tricep extension, you want the seat low as hell," which is pretty much exactly what I've done. Anyway, let's just see how it looks. No chance. Oh, fuck me. My arms. That's not too bad. Let's do it again. I look so short. Anyway, we're going to employ a classic 5 reps each side and then all the way until failure. I sound like a broken record, but like, I just think it's a pretty cool intensifier, and if not intensifier, like even stimulate, even stimulus distributor, if that makes any sense. Because I mean, if I just do one side first and then do the other side after, it's like, I feel like the central nervous system fatigue just doesn't have enough time to recover. Anyway, one more of these. Weak side first. Ugh. Ugh. Nah, that's foolish. Alrighty. I think we might check the pump. Or maybe a bit of forearms. Maybe a bit of forearms first. We'll see. Or maybe check the pump and then forearms. Let's check the pump. Alrighty. Now, obviously, you can tell green's my favorite. I think I already said that this video. Anyway, pose down time, or rather, let's check the pump. Chest, triceps, not a lot of volume, but definitely intense still is what I'll say. Now, I was fiddling around with the posing room trying to find the best angles for lighting and stuff, so I think this is it. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. Let's open up with, I'm going to practice the transition, so forgive me. You're going to go from here. I don't like it. Let me try again. You know, that's what I've been doing differently with the side try. Originally, I would always be like this, and I would try to like flex the pecs in, but I think it looks better if I just let the chest like stretch and then just think triceps. Oh yeah, right there. Let me see if I can get into it. Oh, that's not bad. That is not bad. The gill action is crazy. What else we got? Woo! Decent. But I mean, we still got a long way to go. I think as I lean out, what's happening is that there's less and less fat right underneath my pecs. And so it looks to be a little less blubbery. Like all of this is still subcutaneous fat. And I need to get rid of that shit. And then the chest will hopefully look a little more shelfy. Let me just try that again. Cold. Not bad. Anyway, still gotta hit forearms, which also are looking pretty freaky, but work in progress. The new gym is cool. I mean, there's a lot of machines. I don't know how long it'll take me to get around to trying them all, but I definitely do want to just give them all a shot. You know, you just never know what you might find. So anyway, if you listen to this far, thanks for tuning in.